You don't need the umbrellas, you don't need the jackets, but you will need sunscreen and sunglasses today. We have a lot more sunshine on tap. Even though there's high thin clouds, I think you're going to notice there's still some pretty bright blue skies beyond. So we will have a beautiful afternoon. Temperature wise, we will be sitting in the upper 70s and low 80s today. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to compare that to where we would typically think of things as normal for this time of the year. Average highs on this date are in the mid 70s. By the time we get into mid-June and late July, we're talking about those average high temperatures in the low 80s. That's our warmest time of the year. When we go the other direction, though, of course, we get into late September. Our average high temperature on September 29th is 71, and by December 29th, our average high temperature is 37 degrees. It is absolutely incredible, that swing that we go through here in Northeast Ohio from winter into summer. And it feels like we're just flipping the switch straight into summer as this unofficial start to summer is on the way. We have another beautiful day expected today. Those high clouds will be with us. Upper 70s and low 80s for northern Ohio. We will have a lake breeze. That northerly breeze means an onshore chop. So as the wind pushes the water onshore, it can make it for little waves, and it gets kind of choppy, especially if you're going out into the lake, especially if you're on a small craft like a kayak or a canoe or a stand-up paddleboard. It can get real bumpy. But if you turn around and you come back in, it's totally worth it because it's smooth sailing and it's pretty awesome. The bad news here is that it is very much still late May, and that means the water is cold. So 56-degree water temperature off of Cleveland, but it does not look like we have any major water problems that we're expecting. And the UV index is an 8. Reflection off the water is a thing, so really load up on the sunscreen. And if you're not going out on the lake, you're just staying on land, you're going to need that sunscreen too. That burn factor is high. The high thin clouds are associated with an area of low pressure that has been meandering up the east coast, and right now it's impacting centrally areas of North Carolina and into Virginia. That storm system will very slowly begin to degrade and move east over the next couple of days. At the same time, we have a huge area of high pressure in eastern portions of Canada. That all together is pushing back against the general flow of wind in the atmosphere, which is west to east. So typically you would think our weather moves from west to east, but every now and then we get a little kink in the system and it pushes back on us, and that's the situation right now. So all the storm systems, anything that's related to rain or major changes as far as the pattern goes, is not coming anytime soon. We're in a very stagnant pattern here. And the best we'd be able to do is just some high thin cloud cover. And at that, I think we'll start to see that eroding as the day goes on. The good news here is that our temperatures this morning, which started off in the 40s, quickly warmed into the 50s. And now we're going to see that mercury moving into the 70s and the 80s by the afternoon. At the same time, the temperatures are going up. We do not have an appreciable increase in moisture. So we're expecting humidity levels to go down, even though our overall dew point temperatures, that absolute measure of humidity in the air, is not going to be moving. We are going to hold on to this very comfortable air mass for the foreseeable future. So as far as your hour-by-hour forecast goes, you know, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies are the rule to get the day going, thanks to those high thin clouds. But I think by midday, we're talking about temperatures around 80 already, and you can see we skyrocket into the mid 80s in some locations, dependent upon how much of that high thin cloud cover sticks around. But we also have the lake influence. You can see that north wind invading here, and that helps to keep the temperature rise in check in the near shore, near coastal areas. But farther south, I think we'll be uninhibited as far as the heating goes. So the temperatures are likely to be considerably warmer. Fast forward then to tomorrow morning, back in the grind of things, right? For the kids who are still going to school, for the parents who are going to work, a southeasterly breeze will greet you as you step out the door. That should be the sign that things are changing. We've been dealing with an east to northeast wind the last couple of days, but that southerly breeze, that's the warming wind for us. And we will start our Tuesday in the 60s, and temperatures will be propelled up into the upper 70s to 80 degrees by noon, and then we're likely to make it into the low and mid 80s across all of northern Ohio for Tuesday afternoon. It is going to be a beautiful, very summery feeling day. So as far as the next 7 days go, you can see today is actually the cool day of the week with the upper 70s and low 80s. We'll kick it into the mid 80s here as we head through the middle part of the week. Still lots of sunshine, no rain in sight. The best we would be able to do for rain chances in this this 7-day forecast is a meager 20%, and I think even that is a little bit more than is actually in reality for Friday's forecast. The difference here is you can see how those temperatures rise into the mid-80s, and then all of a sudden they take a little bit of a step back. That's sometimes a sign that we've got some wave of energy or something moving through, and indeed it's just enough to kick the temperatures back down into the low 80s, which is still above average for next weekend. So all in all, a very summery feeling forecast as we have now unofficially started summer. We'll get there. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have a good one.